Hi all, this is Skate, and this is the 263, the absolute head case of a YOLO wagon. And I like this tank an awful lot, and I had no intention of making a video on this tank, but Meezy's had a monster 7k game in it, and he sent me the screenshot. I was like, oh, check this out. I was like, that's amazing. I want to play it now I've seen that. I haven't played it properly in a while. Also, check out Meezy's channel, because you know he's going to put that up. And it is an interesting game to watch as well. But after he showed me that, it made me want to play the tank, so I took it out. And these are 3 games which happened back to back, total of just over 16,000 damage, and the first 2 are less than 5k each, so you know the last one's going to be interesting. What I love about this tank though is you can, well, literally treat it like you stole it. It's full throttle everywhere, and you can have wicked fun playing like that. And the best thing to do with this tank, I find, is find sole targets, targets by themselves, or separated targets, and going for one-on-one engagements. You can focus your armor solely on that one-on-one engagement, and you can pretty much out-DPM, well, nearly everything you come across. I mean, with a gun rammer, 460 alpha shells, 290 penetration, a rate of fire of 8.38 rounds a minute, you are looking, I love bouncing Death Stars, but you're looking 3,855 DPM, which means while this guy's on a 20-second reload, I can literally slaughter him. Another thing I want to note with this tank is if you are going to be going a bit YOLO in it, you need to be turning before the corner, so your armor is mostly frontal by the time you turn around the corner. Examples on the last corner. Example on this corner, we turn left a little and then we swing it right, so we're turned before the corner rather than exposing too much of our side. Seems like a stupid thing to say, but in my head I always think, well, you get around a corner faster by trying to hit the apex. In a tank like this, you need to be turning before the corner, way before the corner, so your armor is pretty much all the way around the corner first. I wanted to point that out because you have no idea how many times I've bounced shots like that Death Star coming around the corner by just trying to turn a little bit earlier, so more of my armor is around the corner. I mean, things like this corner, don't really care. There's nothing that could shoot me as I came around the corner, which is why you'll notice so much of the side armor was exposed when I turned it. But when you know there's something there and you're still going to go around the corner like a head case, well, turn earlier. It really does make the difference. Then the other thing with this tank is the armor on the front is fantastic. And I do mean fantastic. It's got 250mm of frontal plate, and the upper casement has 250mm. Which means frontally on the flat, head on, you have just under, or depending on angle, just over 400mm of front upper plate thickness. And your front upper casement is looking in excess of 360, slam a little bit of angle on it, and you're looking upwards of 380. In other words, it's damn hard to penetrate. That's the first game down, by the way, 4,683 damage, and we had ourselves a first class. Yeah, front plate, and upper casement plate are great. Lower plate, 170mm thick, gives you about 210 of frontal effective thickness. Not the greatest, really. And then there's the other thing. The gun mantlet has 250mm. When you're pointing directly at it on the flat, you're only looking around 270 effective thickness. And next to the gun, you can find armor holes pretty much. So if someone moves the gun, moves the mantlet, you'll find armor holes of 0 armor, which means you can penetrate the front of this with HE. So if you're face hugging something and you're moving your gun to try and get a shot on them, if they time correctly, they're going through with HE all day long. Before I continue, by the way, check out the shots on this hatch. We're just under 500 meters away. There's one into the hatch, and as he's pulling away, we're just going to get one more into the hatch. But yeah, back on with the armor. Ideally, hiding the lower plate is golden and key. If your lower plate's exposed, people are going to point at it. If it's hidden, or you're on the move, people are going to aim for your gun mantlet, which, for medium tanks, can be tricky, especially if you're moving. But when you're face hugging or you're in a close range scenario, a lot of tanks are going to aim for around the gun mantlet where those armor holes are. Or they're just going to try and pen through, well, the gun mantlet. So you got to keep wriggling, you got to keep moving. And it's that about this tank which is what lends itself so well to that sheer aggressive playstyle, because you keep moving, you're constantly moving. It makes those weak spots damn hard to hit. I mean, we're going to face hug this IS-8 now, and that's going to be a perfect example of how when we slow down a little bit, he's got those easy shots on our gun mantlet, and he does go through quite comfortably, quite reliably. We're hiding the lower plate by being in close, but yet you can see he is looking for the gun mantlet, and he's getting the gun mantlet. I'm going to out DPM him very comfortably, but he is going to get some good shots off on us first. So try and avoid this sort of face hug, unless you know you can afford the hit point trade. If you can afford the hit point trade, then it's worth it all day long. If you can't, or it's a close range, close scenario of hit or miss based on how much hit points you have left, well, keep your hit points. Don't do the close range, just keep moving. And then the last thing I want to mention is the side armor. I mean, the back is just bad. 50 mil of rear armor, a lot of things are going to penetrate the hell out of you with HE. The side armor is 80. And below the tracks, the side armor is 60, which means people who try and shoot through your track wheel are more than likely going to hit it and penetrate it, which is why it is just so important not to over-angle on this thing. Which again lends itself very nicely to the charge headfirst in someone's face tactic. It just sounds like the tactic is, yeah, let's just go hell for leather. Kind of is. If you're in a one-on-one scenario, going hell for leather just makes this thing a monster. But overexposing the side armor by trying to wiggle too much, well, you're going to get penetrated quite comfortably. I personally like to just try and keep it fairly straight with minimal amounts of side armor showing. Minimal amounts by keeping your wiggling going. That's the second game down. First one was 4,683. The results of this one are very similar. 4,638. The 8 and 3 of swap places. But again, it was a good game. It was a fun game. And then on to the last one. This was a very, very fun game. And we pretty much just went hell for leather again. And like I said, I know full well this sounds like such a strange tactic. Or it doesn't even sound like a tactic, really. It just sounds like, yay, let's YOLO. It's what you see a shed ton of Jirax do at tier 7. But it works in this thing. The only key thing you need to do is choose the correct targets to YOLO. If you're choosing the correct targets, that's what makes the tank, is player knowledge. If you YOLO something that has plenty of assistance and support, it's going to hurt because you're not going to be able to focus your armor correctly. Now, the only thing which is damn good in terms of armor is the front. But when you find yourself against targets one-on-one, which you have to pick, you have to select. If you see something like a medium pushing the flank, you see a slow tank destroyer getting left behind, they're the ones you really want to push hard on. Medium tanks more than tank destroyers. And the reason I say that is a lot of people do worry that going up against very fast medium tanks in something like this, well, you're turretless, they can circle you quite comfortably, quite reliably. It's not really the case, especially on a map like this, when you're in close quarters and everything's some form of corridor or street. You can really stop them circling you, because it has good mobility. And you can see here, I found my target. It's that lone T-54 on the flank. So I'm going to ignore the group of tanks by here, and I am after that sole target on the flank. And it's a T-54. And given the right circumstance, he would be able to circle me all day long. But with buildings around me and hard cover, he has no hope of circling me. Even if now he carried on going forward, I could just reverse and push him off against a building. I would have lost maybe 1, 2 shots from him. But because we're in this circumstance, we just tear him apart. It's quite brutal, actually. I mean, your armor's better against the mediums as well, because, yeah, they've got that mobility advantage. In theory, although this thing is bloody mobile. But they have that penetration disadvantage, so they have to try and work their way around the sides of you. And by having to work their way around the sides of you, they focus more on that than trying to penetrate the front of you. Because penetrating the front of you in a medium tank is very challenging. Before you say in the comments, yes, I know, it's not hard when you're sitting still or exposing your lower plate, or they have clear, easy shots on your gun mantlet. But if they don't and you're moving, I don't care what anyone says, it's a damn annoying hard target to hit. And it's that which makes the playstyle so much fun. But it is an unpopular tank, and I think the reason it's an unpopular tank is because there's many other TDs that have huge alpha shots, and that makes them very amusing. And this is a different sort of amusing. It's the fact that you don't have those huge alpha shots. 460 is still impressive if you ask me. But it's just that ability to just go hell for leather. That's the fun playstyle on this thing, and it is hell for leather. You just drive it like a nutter. And I think people really do forget just how good the DPM is on this thing. It's ludicrous. It's insane. At this circumstance, I want to point this out. I'm going to use that tank just like he is to try and hide my lower plate as best I can. That is my focus. That is my goal. Otherwise, you could see him looking for that lower plate, and he would have had that lower plate easy. This is the one APCR shell we are going to load, by the way, because I want to go through the top of his hatch and finish him off before he gets one through my gun mantlet. And we know somewhere there was a Death Star. There is said Death Star, so I really needed to get my armor onto him as quick as possible. He's shot, which, if I go for the tracks, I should very comfortably, very easily be able to get 2 shots on him before he's even reloaded. Now he's going to be at a point where he's about reloaded. So which is why I'm pulling back. And the reason I'm pulling back is, notice what my friendly Death Star is doing. He's pushing the flank. So if I can keep this Death Star distracted and make him think I'm going to pop out at any point, all he cares about is me. My friendly Death Star is about to shoot him in the butt. As he does so, though, just track damage. Which means as he's coming around the corner, I got 1 into him. He's going to push and try and get 1 more into me, but again, the reload on this thing is bonkers. So we do manage to finish him off. And that one was a 7,030 damage game, 1,705 base XP. And it was during the event, so 255 football pins. I'm also using my spare part boosters, by the way. The reason I'm using them is I think I can get better results from using the spare part boosters rather than waiting for Wargamer's conversion on the spare part boosters. And that's a good example of it, because I had 1,859 spare parts from that battle. The game prior, I also had 1,800 spare parts, and the first game, I had 2,100 spare parts. So this is why I'm using my spare part boosters now rather than waiting for Wargamer's conversion. Although I think the spare parts to credit conversion is very good, I don't think the spare part booster is really that good. I think I can get better results basically by using the boosters to accrue spare parts. And, well, 6,000 spare parts, 3 battles. Can't complain. But yeah, quick look at the results screen. 1,705 base XP. We have 1,000 more XP than anyone else on our team, and a very nice amount of damage. I was very happy with that game. I certainly wasn't expecting it to be 7k plus. That's it for this video though. I hope you have enjoyed it. Like I said, it was 3 games. They were played back to back, so I really wanted to put them on because I think it was funny, and it's just a nuts tank. I would also recommend checking out Meady's channel. He's bound to have his game up, if not already, very, very soon. And it has higher damage and higher base XP. And it's a funny game to watch as well. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the games as much as I did playing them things. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.